I'm grateful for the opportunity that you have given me to analyze the Lean Sandwich Shop and determine the problems and also a solution. I'm really excited to share that with you today. So as I began looking at this, we've identified that the problem with the Lean Sandwich Shop is really that they are struggling with the quality of sandwiches and delivering those on time. Over 10% of their sandwiches have to be remade, costing over $120,000 in scrap. It is imperative that we address this problem quickly, as this restaurant, in addition to the high cost of poor quality, is also strategic in that it is the first in a large city in a busy commerce district. If this restaurant does not improve soon, its quality and timeliness, its poor reputation will affect the ability to grow and open additional stores. As we began looking at the problems and challenges that might occur, we did a risk assessment and really came up with lots of different problems, but the top three that we've identified really is just that time, sandwiches taking more than 10 minutes, the incorrect toppings, and ingredients are not quality. And so those are some of the things we've been thinking about as we looked at this process. We also did some root cause analysis, including a Pareto analysis, which really helped us to identify some of the high defects that we're having, which right now are cold sandwiches and the wrong dressing are some of those top areas of concern. We also trying to figure out, why do we have so many cold sandwiches? Looking at this box and whisker chart really helped us to identify that the mean is really only hitting that 10-minute expectation time during those slow hours. As soon as it gets busy, then we are over that. And on the high peak times, such as the 12 o'clock hour, we are hitting a mean or average of 21 minutes and sometimes even higher than that, which really can help us see why we're having so many struggles with customer complaints and dissatisfaction. So as we looked into the process or the steps, trying to figure out, why are we having such trouble hitting that time that we're expecting, part of that became relevant as we can see that we are not hitting our takt time, which is the pace of production that we need to have in order to meet our demand. And task 3 is above our takt time of 60 by almost half, so we're up to 90 on that. Additionally, you can see that there is a huge imbalance in between the different tasks, really showing a lot of waste in our process because you have the employees for task 1, 2, and 7 that really have a lot of time where they are not doing tasks that really contribute to the value overall. Particularly on that task 2, there's a huge amount of room for improvement. Additionally, we looked at our work combination chart to really compare our machine and the employees that are involved in that task to really see if there is problems or concern there. As you can see that there is, because we have this whole 145 seconds of their 165-second task where they're really doing nothing. They are just waiting for the machine to run. And so that's a lot of wasted time that they are not adding value. And so that is definitely something we have addressed in our solution. So with the solution, we really designed a new layout that is going to facilitate greater flow. And we've additionally combined a lot of our tasks to even out that work balance table that we'll see in just a minute. So when we look at our previous tasks, the way this system is currently, we really have those 7 different tasks. And as we looked at improving the process, we have combined those into just 3 different tasks. So task 1 is the same, and then task 2 really now includes one employee receiving the order, selecting the bread, adding the protein veggies, and additionally placing it in the toaster. And so basically by breaking up that toaster step, we have been able to remove that 145 seconds of wasted employee time. And then we've added the removing the toaster to task 3 where they remove that wrap and deliver the sandwich. This has allowed us to go from 12 employees down to 7 employees, meeting the same demand and actually meeting our takt time. So you can see here where we have improved that process. Here's the old chart to remember, as well as the new, and you can see that we're much more even across those different tasks, and we are below our takt time on all of the tasks, really creating great benefit and improvement for our process. So going back to our work layout, Again, you can see the flow here where we have basically the 3 steps of record and delivering, and then task 2 that really incorporates the flow of these items by one employee and then over into the toaster, and then that person filling the last 3 steps of that process into one task. This has really helped us to address those risk assessments of really it taking more than 10 minutes. That risk priority went from a 36 down to a 12, and the cold sandwiches went from an 18 priority level down to a 6. Additionally, this layout really allows us to be able to scale better for those high busy times because you can add employees as needed. We can add additional task 1 and you can add multiple individuals into this task 2 on either side to really increase to be able to meet those high demand times. So as we look at the ongoing process that we're going to need to control and sustain, we are going to need to utilize some control charts to evaluate and make sure that we are staying within our target TPH. Currently, this is our current process TPH, which you can see is an average or mean of 5 right now, with variations up to 3.65 on either side of that chart. To begin with, we will use a Gamma board to begin tracking what our new TPH is. We are expecting it to shift from what was previously a mean of 5 up to a mean of 9. We've also made a little bit tighter control limits, only being 3 units on either end. But that will help us to create the baseline as we move forward. Additionally, we are going to be using several different tactics to really help us with this process. We really want to be able to standardize in order to have greater stability in our process. And so we have created this standardized work chart that really allows us to have a visual representation of our flow and the movement of both product and employees, and include things like our takt time as well. This will really help as we train our employees to be able to help them visualize. Additionally, we plan to create some job breakdown sheets that will have visual representation of each step that they need to perform and be very clear and easy for them to read and create very great standards. Additionally, as we begin our training of these new processes, we will be utilizing a versatility matrix to really help us be very easily to see where all of our employees are at and if there's any challenges with any of the steps that they need to be learning. As we begin operations, we will expect that our managers will be performing 5x5 audits where they will be observing the employees for about 5 minutes, coaching them, and then doing additional follow-up so that we can increase our skill level of our employees and as well as our employee satisfaction, and really making sure that this process is standardized and working well to improve our customer satisfaction. Finally, you get to see the savings that have resulted from these changes or will result from these changes once we make them. So you can see with these implementations, we will improve our TPH from 5 up to 8.6, which really results in huge labor savings that we are expecting, as well as these process improvements will allow us to decrease the amount of scrap. So we'll have less cold sandwiches and less returns. That will also allow us to save a lot of money in reducing by about 80% our scrap, which results in about a total expected savings of about $317,950, which is huge, as well as the benefits to the reputation of the company that will provide additional dividends beyond this. So as we look forward to executing, it will be expected that the project owner will communicate the progress on each of these elements, as well as any that are additionally identified as needed. So really, we're going to need to communicate to all of the stakeholders or those that are going to be impacted greatly by this, the upcoming changes and some of the why behind those. We're also going to need to arrange to make the physical changes to the facility to facilitate this new workflow that will help improve our process. And once that is in place, we're going to need to arrange some training for our employees, both current and any new ones that we gain. Again, we're going to be utilizing those standardized work charts, the job breakdown sheets, and the versatility matrix to accomplish those. Once that is complete, then we will want to commence operations with this new layout and flow and begin tracking that TPH on the Gemma board to keep those control limits and evaluate where we're at. And then we'll also want, from the people side, those managers to be doing those audits and make sure that we are hitting our expectations for our employees and helping them grow and develop. Additionally, we want to continue to look for potential process improvements that we haven't addressed in this current plan that we can additionally make. But I know as we make these plans and continue to watch for others, that the Lean Silence shops can be truly successful and a great shop that will be able to grow and expand. And I look forward to continuing to work with you. Do you have any questions?